in-laws urges move to Twitter after copyright hit. Jose Chili de Castro's Saturday livestream was mired in controversy as his campaign to move to Twitter was mysteriously bolstered by not one but two temporary copyright takedowns on the YouTube platform. De Castro had been denouncing YouTube and featuring completely uncensored content for the entire broadcast. After weeks of backing off from showing violent content, De Castro was almost challenging YouTube to take him off the air during the broadcast, showing uncensored shootings and beatings in videos that he'd normally pull away from. His feed was paused due to a content issue on YouTube after De Castro started to play a video from Discovery Communications, which recently merged with the former HBO Max. It went down a second time when he tried to play the video again. Each time his video feed went down across the 3 YouTube channels he was streaming on, he urged his followers to join him on Twitter/X to fight YouTube's obvious censorship. Eventually his dire warnings paid off and he peaked at 640 viewers of the video on the platform. De Castro, reading the jump in viewers was due to his natural charisma and charm and not due to the fact that word of mouth of his crisis had brought the viewers in, came close to proclaiming Twitter his new home and encouraged his viewers to like and retweet his content to help him establish Twitter as his new platform. Viewers immediately began accusing De Castro of staging the content hit to further his planned move to Twitter/X. They noted that Discovery Communications is notorious for protecting its copyright. The 2 pauses of his livestream for copyright usage came as an automated process, and at one point De Castro acknowledged that the video he was about to play was from Discovery. Automated copyright flags do not result in monetization hits or hits against the channel if the content is removed. De Castro complied overnight by removing the content in question, and his edited live streams are now up on his YouTube channels. His plan resulted in attention to his YouTube channel, and he knew that there was minimal risk as he could use any content strikes against his channel as more reason to leave YouTube for Twitter. Others argued that De Castro wasn't bright enough to carry out such a plan. They stated that De Castro is known for being a bumbling fool who lives in the moment and is incapable of long-term strategy. His use of the Discovery footage was a helpful blunder on his part, which saw him get him what he claimed his goal was, an increase in his Twitter/X presence. Whatever the case, his video on Twitter/X has seen 1,100 views as of Sunday morning. He gained 51 followers on Twitter/X, and none of his new followers have actively begun to help him increase his presence on the platform by retweeting his late-night tweets. In more De Castro news, he announced that his dog Charlie seems to be making a miraculous recovery from a recent bout of pancreatitis. The dog could be heard barking and scampering about during the livestream despite being on life support just days ago. De Castro also had a brief negative encounter with YouTuber Lauren De Laguna at the start of the broadcast. De Castro called De Laguna out as a clout chaser, to which she replied with, "I'm not a hater. I'm just annoyed by your terrible advice which lands people in real legal trouble." The two bickered in De Castro's side chat until she was apparently blocked by his moderators. De Castro is expected to live stream again later this afternoon.
Denver Metro audits fails at jail records request. Christopher Denver Metro audits, court of a live stream from the Jefferson County Jail in Golden, Colorado, on Saturday in a failed attempt to do a records request for footage of his time in the jail. Cordova had previously served 16 days and 8 hours in the jail as a substitute for federal prison time as he was sentenced for crimes at a Denver area Social Security office in 2022. While originally sentenced to 15 days, he mysteriously served extra time as a supposed snafu by jail officials. As part of his sentencing, Cordova will be on probation for 2 years. After previously stating that he'd simply self-revoke his probation, the YouTuber explained that he was feeling better about probation as he claimed his probation case manager accepted his First Amendment auditing as a real job and would not be requiring him to seek outside work. Cordova reserved the right to self-revoke his probation at any time. However, if he felt that probation was being unfair or hindered his continuing presence in the auditing community. Saturday's unsuccessful visit to the jail was to seek out security footage containing Cordova during his time at the jail. Cordova had previously announced that he was putting together a documentary on his experience and would be seeking all the footage of himself along with all the employment records on the workers he encountered during his stay. The YouTuber was denied his records request on Saturday, as the records office is only open Monday through Friday. Cordova vowed that he would return on Monday, the Federal Veterans Day holiday, to make his requests. He then filled out his video by walking around the outside of the jail, giving a tour of what he could see from the outside of the building. Cordova may have failed at the records request, but his efforts weren't in vain, however, as the attention brought by the live stream saw a new donation to his GoFundMe campaign of $50 on Saturday. This tied him for the overall win with our own ongoing expenses account, which also brought in $50 for the day. Long Island Audit's Support Freedom Stand Against Tyranny Together campaign came in third with a $10 take for Saturday. We still need your help. Despite the GoFundMe market being dead, this publication is funded by your donations along with what little we make from our YouTube channel per month. While we did achieve full monetization on YouTube, we still need help to get through monthly expenses and keeping the lights on to bring you the paper and the newscast each day. If you can afford it, please consider donating to the GoFundMe run by this very channel. All donations literally go to keeping the lights on, eating, and writing news stories to feature here and on ReallyCoolSite.org. If you can't afford to contribute, please watch the advertisements on our videos, like, share, subscribe, and comment. You can help by doing next to nothing, and we thank you in advance for pitching in. The angry vet promises vengeance on enemies. The angry vet's drive from South Carolina back to his home in Maryland on Sunday was captured on his live stream as he pledged vengeance on both his enemies and the police in Rock Hills, South Carolina. Telling a new version of his story of being jumped by multiple police officers last week while he was soliciting funds for his veterans organization, he added that after his post-attack live stream ended, he went to the hospital where he was diagnosed with a concussion. The YouTuber set his GPS for the 200-plus mile ride home as he began his trip, complaining that he could have long-term problems from the concussion. Part of that came as he said it hurt him to read his side chat, and that his equilibrium was messed up. He continued his request for his fans to brigade the Rock Hills Police Facebook page and phone number, and to take it to the town of Rock Hills Facebook page should they not get through to the police. The angry vet pondered getting his friends together to go back to Rock Hills in order to get justice from the police should they not issue an apology to him. This need for vengeance applied to his online enemies as he told his moderators to carry out bannings of anyone who opposed him. One of those who oppose him, Brick Jonesy, was directly addressed by the angry vet. He told Brick that he needed to stop emulating Jose Chili de Castro and to be his own style of auditor. He warned Jonesy against hanging out with YouTuber Let's ODVO, as Let's ODVO was using him. Regarding De Castro, Jonesy replied in the side chat of the live stream, "I hear you, I appreciate your concerns. He's done more for me than my own family." Regarding lawsuits, the angry vet promised that he had at least 4 lawsuits coming, and that he would be focusing less on his fundraising efforts until the lawsuits were filed. He said that he was seeking FOIA experts to come do volunteer work for his nonprofit veterans organization. His organization, Servicemen and Citizens for American Rights Society (SCARS), is not recognized by the IRS as a tax-exempt organization. Accusations have been made by former members of the group, including auditor Annapolis Audit/Taco Terry, that the group's funding is illegitimate and illegal in nature. The angry vet again promised swift retribution against his enemies before ending his live stream for Saturday. Why De Castro will fail on Twitter. Saturday night's massive broadcast of over 640 people on Twitter/X was an amazing feat for Jose Chili de Castro and may have brought him false hope that the large turnout was going to jumpstart his new Twitter empire. De Castro has been pushing leaving the confines of YouTube for literally anywhere else in the past few months, complaining of limited monetization opportunities based on the uncensored videos he features on his channel. One thing to note is that he's not wrong about YouTube's recent limits on monetizing content. Since August, YouTube has been a lot stricter in determining content that is suitable for advertising. We know this because our own benign daily live streams featuring Karens and drunk people are constantly flagged for limited advertising. Even when we don't show violence and most of the show is talking over the videos, we have a near automatic flag to limited monetization. We appeal, and 2 to 3 days later we receive full monetization again. After the opportunity to earn advertising revenue is pretty much lost since our viewers have moved on to our next live and don't tend to go back and watch our old stuff. YouTube is brutal with live content, but at the same time, live shows bring the opportunity for creators to directly advertise to a live audience. While there's a delay in payouts of up to a month, and YouTube does get a cut, encouraging members to buy super chats and memberships can make up for the loss in revenue from being limited. Right now, we're getting between $4 and $8 per 1,000 views on our channel. But we're getting about $8 for every $10 super chat. With a channel as small as ours, that $8 super chat is probably more money than the video will bring in for its entire lifetime. Bigger channels like DeCastro's may not be bringing in revenue from advertising when they're limited, but DeCastro's last 2 live streams alone have brought in $290 super chats. That's about $100 more than we make off YouTube in a month, and that's just from 2 days. His overall take in super chats for the month is $990 so far, plus roughly $354 based on a rate of $6 per 1,000 views, with 59,000 total views if those same videos are monetized. The money is not an immediate payout, and YouTube still must take their cut, but for 9 days of work in the month, that's between $990 and $1,344 in possible cash in his pocket next month that he won't have if he switches to an exclusive Twitter/X feed. Twitter/X does not offer super chats, but does allow tips. Tips are essentially done via the profile of the creator, and all the money tipped goes to the creator as payments are made via a third-party application, Cash App, PayPal, etc., and not through Twitter/X itself. The hoops you most go through to give a tip discourages the practice more than anything, and we do not hold out hope that DeCastro can explain to his audience how to handle money that way. While Twitter/X offer paid super followers, the fact is that there are long waiting times just to be considered for that program. Super followers are pretty much the same as paid memberships on YouTube or Patreon. They can't be gifted en masse like on YouTube, but the cut taken by Twitter/X is around 3% for most creators. Revenue from Twitter/X's ads revenue sharing program is a lot harder to calculate. Essentially, it is based on organic impressions from verified Twitter/X users leaving impressions in the comment section of your tweets. A tweet may be viral, but the only money a creator is going to make will come from those people with paid memberships that see the content. According to epidemicsound.com, at best, a creator is making $8.50 per million paid impressions to a tweet. DeCastro is currently averaging about 700 to 1,000 impressions per tweet. Even if they were all from paid members, the return from the invested time in making the tweet is not enough to justify the effort. There's no money there, and DeCastro's past history shows that he won't be able to amass the paid viewership he needs in time to pay bills, especially if he leaves YouTube. Let's not forget, in just the past 6 weeks, he's failed multiple times to leave or rebrand on YouTube. Patreon currently stands at 53 members and 4 paid members, offering memberships as low as $10 a month to see unedited content, otherwise charging $10 to view videos. It was going to be his new home with uncensored content and community. He abandoned it last week and told his members to quit Patreon to go to teamdlz.com. We're not sure how good or bad this one is doing since it's a private site. Offers memberships for as low as $6 and was supposed to be a complete social media experience. 3 weeks after launch, and he's already putting his uncensored content on YouTube. He had been forced to make the $6 price point since so many people refused to pay $10 for his content. First Amendment Auditor YouTube. Launched by DeCastro at the same time as his other launches, he was going to rebrand to the channel to escape YouTube censorship on his other channels. Currently stands at 410 subscribers and 5 total videos. His 623,000 subscribers from his main channel didn't come with him. No one is interested in the content, and he recently had to pull a video featuring a tour of his studio as he accidentally doxed himself. He's now calling it a backup channel and has at least briefly moved away from the rebranding. Now DeCastro is urgently looking at Twitter to bring his 623,000 followers. After last night's stunt, he moved from 2,276 followers to 2,327 followers, a gain of 51 followers for the stunt. By comparison, his former partner, Colin Project Constitution Campbell, who focuses on extremely popular political views during an election year, has 20,400 followers and is barely making money off the platform due to its dire monetization. DeCastro's violent and misogynistic rhetoric may fit the current climate of Twitter/X, but after showing that he has no clue what he's doing on social media over the past month, we stand by our assessment. His home is YouTube, like or not, and his expansion to Twitter/X will only drive him further into failure.
Delete Law's Twitter dreams come to savage end. Delete Law's Jose Chili de Castro's Sunday night livestream confirmed one crushing thing to the former top dog of the First Amendment auditing world: if he builds it, they won't come. With a reported live 109 viewers on YouTube and less than 60 on Twitter/X, his latest attempt to move away from his Delete Law's channel on YouTube can be deemed a complete and miserable failure. Over 2 days of his planned change of scenery from YouTube to Twitter/X, he's gained a grand total of 68 followers for the weekend. 52 for his stunt on Saturday and 16 for the aftermath on Sunday. His latest tweet, as of press time, approximately 2:27 a.m. Eastern Time, has had 255 views, 4 comments, 12 retweets and 21 likes on the Twitter/X platform in the 6 hours it's been live. If he were monetized on the service, it'd take roughly another 1,000 to 10,000 posts like this, with impressions from viewers with paid Twitter subscriptions, to earn close to a penny for his efforts. Obviously, the Twitter/X move has failed. Much like the move to his First Amendment Auditor channel, 409 total subscribers in 3 weeks, Patreon, 53 members, 4 paid members in a month, and TeamDLZ.com undetermined but bad enough that he's posting the content everywhere else. His 623,000 subscribers from his main channel aren't moving with him to his new home. We'll grant him the fact that his Sunday night stream was hampered by the fact that his fans couldn't find his stream on Twitter/X, with numerous complaints that he didn't set up a post on Twitter/X with the stream in it for his fans to find it to use the live chat. Even De Castro was confused by his viewership on Twitter/X, as his following growing exponentially was essentially just his YouTube subscribers watching on both platforms at once. It wasn't drawing new paid viewers to the point where it would be feasible to monetize on Twitter/X. De Castro was much less amplified on Sunday's livestream and ended Saturday night's practice of pushing the envelope on YouTube, as he did not show videos featuring killings or violent assaults by police like he did the night before. The YouTuber apologized to his fans who are using his paid TeamDLZ.com site, as he said he hasn't released exclusive content in several days. Instead, he has been lying on the floor with his dog Charlie, who, despite having a good Saturday, was again deathly ill and had to be forced to eat on Sunday. YouTuber Craig Hendry was briefly mentioned by De Castro. Hendry is set to go to trial on felony harassment charges in Indiana next week. De Castro had previously said that there was a possibility that he'd make an appearance at the trial but could not commit fully for financial reasons. The Sunday night stream has 358 views on Twitter/X compared to 2,228 views on his main YouTube channel. De Castro's planned GoFundMe for the $10,000 he said he needed immediately or Charlie's care still has not materialized. The market itself was flat for Sunday, with no new donations to the campaigns we follow. We still need your help. Despite the GoFundMe market being dead, this publication is funded by your donations along with what little we make from our YouTube channel per month. While we did achieve full monetization on YouTube, we still need help to get through monthly expenses and keeping the lights on to bring you the paper and the newscast each day. If you can afford it, please consider donating to the GoFundMe run by this very channel. All donations literally go to keeping the lights on, eating, and writing new stories to feature here and on ReallyCoolSite.org. If you can't afford to contribute, please watch the advertisements on our videos, like, share, subscribe and comment. You can help by doing next to nothing, and we thank you in advance for pitching in.
Audit them, and the tribe reveal Auditor Shield. YouTubers audit them, and the tribe revealed their long-hyped auditing program on Saturday with a live stream devoted to their new Auditor Shield auditing program. While First Amendment auditors have a long history of dramatic videos featuring citizen journalists confronting authority figures with accusations of misdeeds and wrongdoing in poorly shot YouTube videos, the Auditor Shield product is intended to bring some structure and organization to the once chaotic practice of First Amendment audits. Creator The Tribe explained during the live stream that it was up to citizens to hold their governments in check. While anyone can audit a post office for clicks and views, for example, without a goal and without key points to look for in the actual audit, there's no purpose to the audit. The tribe's product is intended to provide auditors with a process to define the nature of the audit, the criteria a subject is being judged on, and specifics to look for in order to hold the subject accountable for their own rules and procedures. More importantly, with a set goal in place for the audit, the auditor can help the subject of the audit improve their compliance with their own rules and guidelines, and can be audited multiple times to ensure things are running smoothly. Auditor Shield, in essence, is a series of flow charts, specialized forms and procedures for auditors to use for both setting up their auditing organization and to perform the auditing process itself. The product puts the focus back on the actual process of auditing and removes the dramatic encounters that make for good YouTube fodder, but otherwise do not help with improvements that organizations need to make to comply with their own rules, regulations, and procedures. Audit Them was chosen by the tribe out of all the active First Amendment auditors in the world, as he represented a controlled, non-controversial figure who has a single-minded focus on the audit, and not the drama typically involved in auditing. The laid-back yet serious approach to redressing one's government is an important concept with the product. The tribe stressed that an audit is about collecting data and making recommendations based on that data. He encourages further auditing of the data until a group conclusion is reached and recommendations can be implemented. Custom packages are available for each person who takes part in the program, which includes specific forms and procedures based on individual state law. While using the platform, the tribe says that auditors have a 0% chance of being arrested while conducting an audit. Auditor Shield is now available as a $24.99 a month membership level on Audit Them's YouTube channel. Long Island audit guilty of trespassing. Sean Paul, Long Island audit Reyes, was found guilty of trespassing in the Schenectady, New York, City Hall last Thursday based on his actions in the City Hall on April 1, 2024. On that day, Reyes bypassed security and entered the building, making his way to Schenectady Mayor Gary McCarthy's office. He was told that the mayor was unavailable and was invited to make an appointment to meet with the mayor at a later time. Reyes left the office and wandered around the building until he passed a security guard, who questioned him as to why he was filming. The YouTuber escalated the encounter, refusing to stop recording while following the guard back to his security station. Eventually, Reyes was given the option to stop recording or else he would be trespassed from the building. Reyes again stated that it was his constitutional right to record and that he could not be arrested for recording the police. He was then arrested for trespassing. Recording has been prohibited within the Schenectady City Hall for years due to an executive order from Schenectady Mayor Gary McCarthy. The City Hall has a reputation for prosecuting other First Amendment auditors who attempted to record in the building. Reyes' feigned surprise at his arrest for filming in the building is countered by his own actions. He had announced his arrest in both the title and description of his April 1st live stream and had set up a GoFundMe to fund his legal defense before entering the Schenectady City Hall and being arrested. Upon release later the same day, Reyes indicated that he was now suing the state of New York over the arrest and would be seeking a large settlement. If this was meant to dissuade prosecution, it failed as New York State carried through with its prosecution of Reyes. Prior to the trial, Reyes made a case in his YouTube streams and videos that he couldn't be trespassed from the building as he had been exercising his right to film police in their course of their daily activities, which is legal under New York State's so-called right to record law. He also claimed that City Court Judge Tenica Frost could not fairly judge the case as she was appointed to her position by Mayor McCarthy. He urged her to recuse herself when she refused to strike down McCarthy's executive order based on motions he filed before his trial. In her ruling, Judge Frost relied on a previous New York Supreme Court case, which had been ruled on in August, that found McCarthy's executive order was valid and constitutional. That case had been brought by Daniel, auditing Erie County Wormis, who challenged the executive order after his own arrest in the building. The GoFundMe for the arrest has brought in $2,433 out of a $10,000 goal since its April launch. Reyes was fined $370 for the trespassing charges. He has vowed to appeal. I'm Johnny Jones, and this is the GoFundMe report for November 12, 2024. The market was flat for Monday, other than a $70 donation to our own ongoing expenses campaign. Otherwise, new videos by Denver Metro Audits and Long Island Audits were not enough to spur the market with new donations. We'll continue to track the market and have a new report tomorrow. We need your help. This newscast is funded by your donations along with what we make from our YouTube channel per month. While we did achieve full monetization on YouTube, we still need help to get through monthly expenses and keeping the lights on to bring you the paper and the newscast each day. If you can afford it, please consider donating to the GoFundMe run by this very channel. All donations literally go to keeping the lights on, eating, and writing news stories to feature here and on ReallyCoolSite.org. If you can't afford to contribute, please watch the advertisements on our videos and like, share, subscribe, and comment. You can help by doing next to nothing, and we thank you in advance for pitching in.
DeCastro accepts challenge from Reed. YouTuber Delete Law's Jose Chili DeCastro accepted the challenge of fellow YouTuber juggernaut Jared Reed for a 10-minute submission-only wrestling event. Reed, who is based in Pennsylvania, originally challenged DeCastro to 10 minutes in a wrestling ring and guaranteed that DeCastro wouldn't make it out in one piece in a YouTube video 2 weeks ago. When DeCastro did not respond to his original challenge by covering it on his YouTube channel as instructed, Reed issued another challenge over the weekend. This time challenging DeCastro to a submissions match where the person with the most submissions in the 10 minutes would be declared the winner of the match. It was in the comments field of the second video where DeCastro replied on Sunday, "Challenge accepted. When are we fighting? I'll do anything for you to stop doing this." DeCastro claims to have trained with UFC legend Ken Shamrock, who has denied any knowledge of DeCastro in the past. Despite DeCastro's previous claims, which he has since backed off on, DeCastro was never part of Shamrock's Lion's Den organization. He may have had a small part in a promotional video for the organization, but this has yet to be confirmed with actual footage of DeCastro facing Shamrock. DeCastro also claims 30 or 40 years of wrestling training, that he's sparred with top stars in both the wrestling and jiu-jitsu fighting styles and has shared his multiple fantasies of killing someone using wrestling maneuvers. Going so far as to state that he would use pro wrestling moves, which are choreographed, to make an opponent's brains explode. Reed's training is unclear. Other than he has some connections to the pro wrestling circuit in Pennsylvania. While not a dominating physical fighter, Reed warns not to underestimate his desire to stop DeCastro's constant threats towards others and claims to be a one-man wrecking crew. Longtime followers of DeCastro will remember that he previously had agreed to fight Ironton, Ohio, police officer Chad Gue in a UFC-style cage match in 2022. After signing a contract and agreeing to have the fight aired on pay-per-view, DeCastro backed out of the fight at the last minute, claiming he had a knee injury and high blood pressure. The event was held without DeCastro, with Gue symbolically accepting a First Amendment-based title belt that eventually was awarded to Kate Peter of the Masshole Troll Mafia. Reed is said to be setting up the fight between the two men, with one possible setting being the Sanctuary in Hazleton, Pennsylvania. It is unclear if Reed will be covering the cost of DeCastro's transportation to the event. DeCastro's response to Reed has been one of his rare appearances on social media in the last few days as he's been focused on his dog Charlie, who he's claimed is sick with pancreatitis. The YouTuber's most recent YouTube community posts have featured the news that Charlie was able to eat some food yesterday, after 6 days of not eating. De Castro, who has received criticism for using his dog's apparent illness to help bring attention to his various launches, First Amendment Auditor YouTube channel, Patreon page, TeamDLZ.com, had been otherwise radio silent on Monday. We'll continue to monitor the status of the fight between De Castro and Reed along with updates to Charlie's condition as news breaks. De Castro lashes out at Lane Myers, other auditors. A disappointed Jose Chili De Castro lashed out on his Tuesday night livestream at YouTuber Lane Myers and other First Amendment auditors who did not act professionally in their audits involving police and government officials. De Castro said he had a lot of time to reflect on his past audits when he was wrongfully incarcerated in the Clark County, Nevada, detention center earlier in the year and has decided that all auditors involved in his new First Amendment auditing program must uphold standards of behavior while auditing. The activist and YouTuber explained that while he used to believe that insulting and degrading police officers was part of the First Amendment auditing process, he changed his mind when he was punished for his actions after calling a bailiff a pig before his trial for obstruction and interference earlier in the year. De Castro warned that while reviewing footage of auditors' activities in court, abusive language or activities by the auditor can and will result in a harsher sentence as judges ignore the First Amendment and punish those who are negatively expressing their feelings against police. Reviewing a recent Lane Myers video as part of his live stream, De Castro warned Myers that his abusive language and disrespectful attitude will be used against him at the trials for his recent arrests. He advised Myers that he must change his attitude towards police in the future to prevent further arrests. After seemingly abandoning his focus on his new First Amendment Auditor channel, De Castro revived his claims that he would soon be rebranding and focusing on teaching. He explained that his delay was due to deep depression over the health status of his dog Charlie, who is suffering from pancreatitis. De Castro said it was another bad day for the animal, who again refused to eat. It was a turnaround from progress made by the animal on Monday when he was actively eating, and further negative progression from Saturday's report that Charlie was up and running around as normal. The YouTuber did not indicate what further healthcare has been provided to Charlie, but did indicate that his own mental health has been affected by the animal's illness. De Castro shared that he has temporarily stopped working on everything for his TeamDLZ.com website as he spent days eating unhealthy food and spending time with his pet. Attempting to put a half-hearted effort into his announced new focus on Twitter/X, De Castro's stream on the service again failed to bring in big numbers from his 623,000 YouTube followers. Last night's stream has been viewed 203 times on Twitter/X while it's been viewed over 2,000 times on YouTube. De Castro is expected to live stream again later on Wednesday.
The GoFundMe market saw big gains for Sean Paul, Long Island Audit Reyes, and his Support the Fight Against Tyranny and Corruption campaign on Tuesday, which sprang to life after his trespassing conviction made the news. The fund, which is his generic fund that is promoted on all his videos, saw a $100 donation sneak in with minutes to spare at the end of the day. Christopher Direct D. Ruff's fund devoted to clearing his name came in second for the day with a $20 donation. The donation comes as Direct D has returned to live streaming on Monday after privatizing all of the previous live streams on his channel. No other funds had activity for the day. We need your help. This newscast is funded by your donations along with what we make from our YouTube channel per month. While we did achieve full monetization on YouTube, we still need help to get through monthly expenses and keeping the lights on to bring you the paper and the newscast each day. If you can afford it, please consider donating to the GoFundMe run by this very channel. All donations literally go to keeping the lights on, eating, and writing news stories to feature here and on ReallyCoolSite.org. If you can't afford to contribute, please watch the advertisements on our videos and like, share, subscribe, and comment. You can help by doing next to nothing, and we thank you in advance for pitching in. Serio still mum on sweep the leg challenge. With just a little over 3 weeks until his next court case, Auditing the USA, Glenn Serio, has yet to respond to the Sweep the Leg challenge issued to him by Discord user Touche, which is intended to happen at his next court hearing on December 3rd. Serio has always bragged about his ability to sweep the leg of police officers and first responders at the scene of traffic accidents or other encounters. Part of his great fame has come from his ability to get reactions from targets of the challenge without having to carry through with the challenge. The closest he's come to having to prove his toughness was an encounter with a member of the armed services in 2022 at a post office facility that almost ended in a brawl before it was broken up as someone accepted his challenge to get physical. After Serio started to challenge first responders again, now bragging about his ability to break kneecaps, he went suspiciously silent when Discord user Touche accepted his challenge. To sweeten the deal, Touche added a $1,000 cash bonus for Serio should he be successful in sweeping her leg, noting that she is several years older than the YouTuber, female, and not an active fighter. YouTube user Jane Doe 6181 sweetened the pot by adding another $500 to the challenge, which is intended to happen after Serio's next small claims court hearing involving Everett, Washington, crime scene analyst Erica Bennett. Serio claims that he is suing Bennett and the city of Everett for $100 million for Bennett issuing a police bulletin several years ago that contained his driver's license number and social security number. The small claims court has a limit of $10,000 in damages for any case. Serio has yet to file his presumed federal lawsuit for the higher figure. It is unclear if Serio will appear in person at his next hearing or if he'll opt for a Zoom appearance. His last court appearance was in October, where he unsuccessfully attempted to sue YouTuber Tella Klein for identity theft. After the hearing, Serio falsely claimed that Klein was brandishing a weapon outside of the courtroom, which prompted an armed police response that ended without arrests. Discord user Touche, a friend of Klein's, issued the challenge soon after that incident. Even though she released photos of the money, nothing prompted Serio to acknowledge the challenge. We will continue to monitor the ongoing drama involving Serio as his court date approaches. Benson 45-day ban upheld in Englewood. Reagan Benson announced during her Tuesday afternoon live stream that her 45-day ban from the Englewood, Colorado, City Council chambers had been upheld after a review by an independent hearing officer. Benson had effectively been banned from the Englewood City Council chambers within the Englewood Civic Center last month after disrupting numerous City Council meetings with increasingly bizarre behavior. After a legal challenge to appeal the ban resulted in a hearing with the independent hearing officer, Benson claimed the officer was hired by the City Council to uphold her ban. She implied that further legal action would be taken against the Englewood city government. Tuesday saw Benson bring Robert Waters, the homeless man she saved from dying from frostbite in Englewood last winter, to be used as a human prop as she confronted members of the Englewood government at the swearing-in of new Englewood Police Chief David Jackson. Benson claimed that she attempted to follow the procedures set for exemptions to her ban, which would allow her to conduct business within the City Council chambers with a police escort provided no alternative means to do so were presented. She explained that she attempted to arrange a police escort on Friday, but hadn't heard anything back by Tuesday morning. She then filed an emergency brief with Englewood City Court System demanding access to the gathering. As Benson attempted to enter the Englewood City Council chambers, she was told that it was a private event by Englewood City Manager Sean Lewis, and she would not be allowed in. She was then handed a ruling by the court clerk that indicated that her emergency motion was denied, as she had no business to conduct within the City Council chambers. Benson, accompanied by Robert, stood outside the City Council chambers and recorded the event through the windows of the room. She mocked the events and the oath of office taken by the new police chief, and then presented Robert as a prop as she confronted police officers entering the chambers. After the event, Benson took Robert to the event's reception in the lobby of the building. She confronted both City Council member Rita Russell and City Manager Lewis about the closing of the event to the public, insulting and degrading Lewis in the process. Once the reception began to break up, she took Robert outside to scream at attendees as they exited the building. Benson continued to shout insults and degrading comments towards police officers before retreating to her car. Benson ignored Robert while she gave an extended speech imploring that Sean Lewis be fired for leading the conspiracy against her before ending her live stream. Third time's the charm? DMA makes records request again. Christopher Denver Metro audits. Cordova apparently made a successful records request at the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office on Tuesday, after multiple failed attempts to get video footage from his time spent in jail last month. Cordova had been jailed for 15 days in the Jefferson County Jail in Golden last month as part of his sentencing for federal charges stemming from an incident at a Social Security Administration building in 2022. Because Cordova's sentence was so short, federal authorities sent him to a local lockup to serve his time. He inexplicably served an extra day in jail, which is common in the prison system, and has threatened to sue for compensation based on his 32 hours of extra time in the facility. Tuesday's records request came as Cordova continues to attempt to obtain footage of his time in jail. He said he had already been denied a request for security camera footage earlier in the day of his time within the federal court system for footage from his most recent court hearing. Cordova promised would send his lawyer to force the government to release the footage. Cordova's live stream from Tuesday consisted of over an hour and 5 minutes of Cordova filling out forms on a tablet provided by the Sheriff's Department. It is part of Cordova's new policy to film every interaction with the police and while auditing, including lengthy periods where nothing of value happened. He indicated that his records requests on Tuesday included all footage of him while he was held in jail, along with all of the employee records of those who interacted with him at the jail. He was also demanding the invoice of the last mattress order from the jail, along with total cost of the mattresses used by the jail. Cordova had previously complained bitterly about the thinness of the mattresses provided by the jail and shared an anecdote about another prisoner who was punished for using 2 mattresses at a time after his cellmate was reassigned to another part of the jail. As Cordova handed in his records request, the records supervisor explained that she'll be in contact with him if any of the footage requests required a payment and would not start pulling the footage until he had paid what was due. Complaining to his viewers that he would more than likely lose money obtaining footage for his personal documentary, he also explained that the rules against using the obtained footage for profit did not apply to him. He claimed that those rules only applied to attorneys who were trying to drum up clients and use the footage in advertisements, and the government could not stop him from putting out his documentary. Cordova ended his live stream shortly after turning in his requests to the records workers. I'm Johnny Jones, and this is your GoFundMe market report for Thursday, November 14th, 2024. The market continued a recent trend of no more than 2 donations for a day as newcomer Liberty Troll edged out Long Island audits for the win for Wednesday. Liberty Troll, known best for a recent arrest, brought in $23 in new donations on Wednesday. There's no real reason for the donation, and it looks to be a drive-by. Sean Paul, Long Island audits $20 take looks to be a continuation on the wave of small donations received in the wake of his conviction for trespassing in Schenectady, New York last week. Otherwise, it was goose eggs across the board with no new donations to any of the other funds that we cover. If you'd like to see a campaign added to this list, please email the URL of the campaign to jameskk9@gmail.com. We need your help. This newscast is funded by your donations along with what we make from our YouTube channel per month. While we did achieve full monetization on YouTube, we still need help to get through monthly expenses and keeping the lights on to bring you the paper and the newscast each day. If you can afford it, please consider donating to the GoFundMe run by this very channel. All donations literally go to keeping the lights on, eating, and writing news stories to feature here and on ReallyCoolSite.org. If you can't afford to contribute, please watch the advertisements on our videos and like, share, subscribe, and comment. You can help by doing next to nothing, and we thank you in advance for pitching in. Floyd Wallace to return to sex tourism. Hearing delayed. In a briefly available live stream on his foreign-only channel Wednesday night, YouTuber Floyd Wallace explained that his November 12, 2024, hearing to take a blind plea deal in Oklahoma has been postponed until December 11, 2024. Wallace explained that he received a notice from the court that said that they were backlogged with other cases and that they had to move his case back a month. This is a continued pattern with the Cleveland County court system in Oklahoma, as Wallace's original misdemeanor charges from mid-2023 have been delayed multiple times in the past. Things have been so bad in Cleveland County, as we've seen in the case of Jason Dollarhide, that delays have spread out Dollarhide's court cases for years. While 2 of Dollarhide's charges resulted in 15-year jail sentences earlier in the year, they were apparently due to plea deals made by Dollarhide to consolidate other charges. Even with his plea deals, Dollarhide still faces multiple charges and was housed in the Cleveland County Jail's overflow area for several months before being transferred to the state penitentiary where he'll be housed for his felony convictions. Wallace seemed elated by the delay, anticipating yet another delay that would force his next hearing until next year. The YouTuber pre-announced his next trip to Colombia for November 24th, provided that he has no problems with his passport due to an outstanding warrant from New Mexico. He also explained that he was on the verge of turning his foreign-only channel into another auditing channel where he would feature recycled auditing footage from other channels, as he does with his 2 other YouTube channels, when he got the news of the delay. His foreign-only channel will remain a travel channel devoted to his sex tourism as he'll be traveling again. In the New Mexico case, Wallace said he owed $225 for the fine and that he could make the warrant go away if he paid it. He followed up by saying he needed another $150 to finish the fees from his current Texas-based probation, which would result in him being released from probation early should they be paid. We were to the point where Wallace was amping up to start a drive for donations when the feed was made private. We'll continue to monitor Wallace's output for news as his feeds become available to the public. Craig Henry released from solitary confinement. Self-described citizen journalist and political prisoner Craig Henry announced on his Wednesday address from Indiana's Vermilion County Jail that he was recently released from a 5-day stint in solitary confinement. Henry said he was put in solitary confinement after an undisclosed incident where he refused to assist correctional officers. According to experts, refusal to assist could mean anything including participating in chores or orders by the guards. The curly-haired YouTuber informed his fans that he went on another hunger strike while in solitary as he was unable to bring his commissary items with him. He said he learned what true evil was as he claimed that the guards mocked him for refusing to eat the food that they provided as he believed it was unfit for his consumption. Initially without books or anything to do while in solitary confinement, Henry thanked a woman from Virginia for a letter that gave him the strength to make it through the torturous conditions. He also thanked his fans for sending him multiple books, including works from Ayn Rand, who he credited as making his life easier while he is serving time after having his bond revoked last month. Henry explained that after he is found innocent of felony harassment charges next week in the Vermilion County case, he'll go directly to face charges in the Sullivan County case. He was unable to share the charges from Sullivan County as they remain sealed, but did state that the judge in the Vermilion County case briefly unsealed his Sullivan County charges for his and his attorney's review. The Vermilion County charges are currently scheduled for a jury trial to be held from November 19th to 21st. Henry said he welcomed all of his fans to attend the hearing and warned that he would be unable to interact with anyone as that would risk further punishment. There is no firm court date for Henry's Sullivan County charges. He explained that Sullivan County authorities had up to 30 days to transfer him to that county for trial. Denver Metro audits trolls the trolls in live stream. YouTuber Christopher Denver Metro audits Cordova went live Thursday night to update his status with federal probation and to have some fun with those that he described as trolls who watch his videos. Cordova started the broadcast by pretending to be upset and claiming that the trolls were right and that he could not audit while on federal probation and that he would need to find a real job to work for 30 hours a week. Reliving 90s pranks, he added an implied psych before laughing at this trolls for being so gullible and believing his announcements, clarifying that he met with his probation officer on Thursday, and she is okay with his lack of work as she accepted that being an independent contractor for YouTube was a real job. He had been required to obtain or maintain a job where he worked at least 30 hours a week as part of his federal probation. He also announced that he was found not guilty in a Colorado Springs, Colorado, trespassing case from the summer of 2023. Cordova claimed that the arrest in Colorado Springs impacted his ongoing sentencing last summer for his sentencing in a 2022 case at a Social Security Administration building. The YouTuber explained that he would incorporate the not guilty finding in his pending federal civil rights lawsuit against the government and in his appeal to the federal 10th Circuit to contest his sentencing. Cordova implied that he was still going over his options as to self-revoking his probation, as his probation officer seemed cool and was a young woman. He promised her that he wouldn't be getting in trouble, and she told him that if he kept out of trouble for a year, he could be off of probation early if he successfully petitioned the court. There was immediate controversy as Cordova was seen smoking a blunt on Christopher Direct D. Ruff's program Wednesday night. While marijuana usage is not a violation under Colorado probation guidelines, it is a violation under federal probation guidelines. Cordova appeared inebriated during the broadcast, and it would be interesting to see what happens when Cordova is eventually drug tested. Cordova announced that Ruff was now his business partner and that he had to get special treatment from his probation officer to allow him to be around a known felon during his probation period. Ruff served several years in jail for armed robbery and is a convicted felon. Ruff and Cordova apparently have planned to travel together over the next few months. Cordova's probation officer is apparently okay with it as long as she is given 10 days notice as to where they plan to travel. The YouTuber claimed he was shadow banned by YouTube as there were only 124 viewers of his live stream. He also claimed he would not be doing new audits for several months as he has a backlog of footage to go through, and he'll also be working on the documentary about his time in jail. GoFundMe Market Report November 15th and 16th, 2024. It was a rough couple of days for the market. As we say, all the funds that we follow put up goose eggs for Thursday and saw just a $5 donation for the Angry Vets Buscar's mission for Veterans and Citizens Fund on Friday. However, since it is mid-month, we have mid-month totals to share for the 8 campaigns that have been active for the month. Coming in last position is Long Island Audit's Unlawful Arrest and Constitutional Rights campaign with a $10 take for the mid-month. In 7th position is the Help Christopher Ruff, Direct D, Clear His Name Fund with a $20 take. In 6th position is Liberty Troll Support the Fight for Our Constitutional Rights Fund with a $23 take for the month. In a tie for 4th position comes Craig Hendry's To Support Craig's Work campaign with a $50 take, along with Defend DMA and the Fight Against Corruption and Oath Breakers Fund, also with a $50 total for the mid-month. In 3rd position comes Long Island Audit's Support Freedom Stand Against Tyranny Together Fund with a $60 take. In 2nd place comes Long Island Audit's Support the Fight Against Tyranny and Corruption Fund with a $120 take. Finally, our own Ongoing Expenses Fund is in 1st place with a $215 take for the half month. We need your help. This newscast is funded by your donations along with what we make from our YouTube channel per month. While we did achieve full monetization on YouTube, we still need help to get through monthly expenses and keeping the lights on to bring you the paper and the newscast each day. If you can afford it, please consider donating to the GoFundMe run by this very channel. All donations literally go to keeping the lights on, eating, and writing news stories to feature here and on ReallyCoolSite.org. If you can't afford to contribute, please watch the advertisements on our videos and like, share, subscribe, and comment. You can help by doing next to nothing, and we thank you in advance for pitching in. FOPA fails twice in South Carolina civil cases. Bad news was shared by the YouTuber known as First Amendment Protection Agency, FOPA, on Thursday night as he announced that he had lost 2 civil cases he had filed against police departments in South Carolina. The first case was from a police department in Allendale, South Carolina, where he was arrested for causing a disturbance at a post office. In that case, the defense's motion for summary judgment was granted as it was found that the police had made a reasonable determination that he was at the post office to cause a disturbance. In the second case, out of New Ellington, South Carolina, he was suing for violations of his First, Fourth, and Fifth Amendment rights and emotional distress. The defendants were granted summary judgment without prejudice and the case was dismissed. FOPA announced that the police chief of New Ellington resigned after FOPA's video on him, as he apparently wanted to be able to keep his 401k and pension. He also announced that he would be refiling that case and would be appealing the Allendale case. After FOPA announced that he was in touch with someone who wasn't a lawyer but was qualified to give legal advice, Delete Law's Jose Chili DeCastro appeared in the side chat of the live stream. FOPA went directly into a plug for DeCastro's 5, a cop cards and trifold product, promising that the trifold was a guaranteed get-out-of-jail-free card to his audience. He, much like Elder DeCastro before him, told his audience that the coming of Donald Trump's second presidency, they would need to band together to revolt against new protections Trump promised to police. He also indicated that he was still attempting to get in touch with 15-year-old auditor, First Amendment advocate, to set up a joint audit. First Amendment advocate recently deleted the single long-form video on his channel, after achieving near-viral status from promotion by both FOPA and DeCastro. FOPA went so far as to replicate the First Amendment advocate's video to similar results. FOPA asked his fans to be sure to like and subscribe to his channel, as he was being shadow banned by YouTube. He then promoted his merchandise line, promising his viewers 2 pieces of merchandise for every $20 they donate, before ending the live stream by reminding his fans that they should flex their biceps like they flex their rights.
Exhausted Delete Laws chooses sleep over fans. Fans of Delete Law's Jose Chili DeCastro were disappointed late Friday night as he did not return to build his wall for his Constitutional Law Scholar board game in a promised late-night live stream. DeCastro had made the promise in his earlier live stream, telling his 181 YouTube viewers and 240 Twitter/X viewers that he would return after going to a friend's house to watch the Mike Tyson/Jake Paul boxing match for a late-night vertical stream. Despite previously stating that he hated the vertical format, DeCastro seems to be embracing the artificial boost YouTube brings to vertically formatted live streams as part of a desperate attempt at relevance on the service. DeCastro's string of failed launches in the past month have left the YouTuber rattled and clinging to Twitter/X as his latest venture, even as he promised the vertical YouTube stream. The activist and self-described constitutional law scholar has failed in his attempt to move to Patreon, effectively shutting his paid Patreon service down after less than a month. His rebranding to his new First Amendment Auditor channel has seen his subscriber base level off at 413 subscribers, with no new subscribers in 3 days. While his TeamDLZ.com channel is private and there are no usage figures available as to paying subscribers, it is assumed that DeCastro is not doing well on the platform due to his sudden focus on again shifting to Twitter/X as his new platform. DeCastro is averaging over 200 views on his most recent messages posted to that service, but archives only 2 to 3 retweets of his messaging. Retweeting helps establish a creator's reputation for providing worthwhile content on Twitter/X and essentially shows that the creator's content is worthy of further distribution. With DeCastro's fans apparently only there to support him and not getting how the platform works, DeCastro's efforts may result in his 4th failure in under a month should he not be able to pick up huge gains in viewership, subscribers, and retweets on the service. As of press time, his earlier Friday night broadcast had brought in 338 total views on Twitter/X to 870 views on YouTube. The YouTube broadcast also brought in $79 in super chats and saw the return of longtime supporter V. Boyer, who had been missing from recent live streams. DeCastro's earlier stream focused on anti-police videos and DeCastro's reaction to audio recordings of YouTuber Lane Meyer's recent court appearances. DeCastro glossed over his dog Charlie's illness during the stream and provided his own health update as he was expected to break his fast later in the evening as he attended his friend's gathering devoted to the Mike Tyson/Jake Paul boxing match. Since DeCastro failed to go live as promised this morning, he may go live again later today.
Auditing launches attack on NCR News Network. First Amendment auditor Auditing attacked YouTube personality NCR News Network, and after being triggered by NCR posing questions to him in a side chat Friday night before attempting to recruit NCR as the king of being a middleman between Auditing and the bootlickers. The bizarre situation started in Auditing's side chat Friday night when NCR suggested to Auditing that he should do a Florida audit. This somehow enraged Auditing, who began to attack NCR as he had already audited in Florida and questioned why NCR would even suggest it, knowing that Auditing had already done so. He then began to call NCR an other-sider, as NCR has produced videos about frauditors. The term again set off Auditing, who went further into the bizarre by describing his Audit Shield product as something that could help future auditors as they dealt with the demon-possessed, wicked government workers who would not support auditing efforts. Going to NCR's YouTube channel, he mocked NCR for coming to his chat because of the clickbait title, PSA, I quit auditing, and attacked NCR as a bootlicker who was there to get a negative story about Auditing. NCR denied this with a message in side chat, claiming to be there because he saw Auditing was streaming. Eventually, Auditing decided that NCR could be saved and would be his king realizer, someone who could show the other side that Auditing was one of two auditors who was on the right train and one of the only auditors who was not a subject. The YouTuber eventually apologized to NCR for singling him out and asked NCR to email him so he could be a middleman to the bootlicking channels. He then promised he would soon be doing background checks on NCR and others in the bootlicking community, and all on the other side would be doomed when he published his book of information. Auditing's clickbait title referred to what he said was his 3-week-long break from auditing as he researched more information to put in his Audit Shield product. He promised that anyone who subscribed to the program would be the only ones who could be protected from being arrested while doing audits. The Audit Shield product is a $29 a month membership level on Auditing's YouTube channel. It provides flow charts and diagrams in order to teach how to do an audit and provides personal FOIA request forms to members based on the states that they intend to audit in. It also provides personalized training from Auditing to members based on the Audit Shield teachings. Auditing said that he would soon be upping his game and found a method to ensure that police will arrest government workers and officials on the spot should they refuse to comply with the laws that he cited while on an audit. Disclaimer: NCR News Network is a regular panelist on ReallyCoolNews YouTube live streams. While he has no financial stake in the productions, he has appeared over 100 times on our panels. The Angry Vet announces hiatus from live streaming. Those tuning into The Angry Vet were treated to a rare Friday afternoon broadcast as the YouTuber announced that he was taking time away from his live streams to compile a list of suspicious people within the First Amendment auditing community. The YouTuber again complained about the lack of community within the community and pointed out that there were members of the community working to actively destroy the work of rivals in the community. He cited Christopher Direct D. Ruff as an example of a person who was working against others and had a toxic influence upon the community. He noted that Ruff's continued partnership with Christopher Denver Metro Audits Cordova has resulted in Ruff's rebranding and apparent dropping or downplaying of his Direct D persona. The Angry Vet added his own concerns to those who found Ruff's recent broadcasts near unwatchable, as Ruff's inebriated state saw him sit motionless for several minutes at a time while reading chat to himself, only uttering an occasional word or two to prove that the video wasn't frozen. He also criticized Ruff for having both Cordova and YouTuber Christopher for public safety writer on his program when neither he or Cordova were sober enough to effectively take part in the debate. The Angry Vet also expressed concerns for Ruff's reading comprehension level and investigative skills, as Ruff often features documents on his live streams and in videos that clearly contradict what Ruff claims they present. Leveling criticism at Cordova, he warned Cordova that Ruff was only using him for his talent and that he was too stupid to see that he was being used as a pawn. He continued to criticize Cordova for being a lackey to Ruff, taking an arrest in Colorado, for example, for Ruff shining a high-powered flashlight at the police. Then he called Ruff a poor friend for not stepping up and taking responsibility for his own actions. Updating his own recent troubles with police, the Angry Vet said that he was healing from a police attack earlier in the month and that he had been experiencing headaches so bad that he was throwing up from the pain. He shared that his last CT scan showed that he did not have swelling or bleeding on the brain, but also shared that he would not seek treatment at his local area Veterans Administration health facility, as they would not let him film within the building. The Angry Vet ended his stream by promising he was working on a Christmas present for Ruff and others in the First Amendment auditing community and would not return to live streaming until he was ready to deliver it.